All right, good evening. Welcome to the Farron Dozier Show on KCAA Radio, 106.5 FM, 1050 AM. Also streaming from the KCAA Radio.com website and MBRradio.us. We got to bless the show before we get started. Let's go. When I was in my mother's womb, I had a calling on my life to do something in the glory of God and marry it like a wife. Commit myself to his word and never be led astray. And when it's all over, when he comes, I'll be glad to see that day in the morning time. All right, good evening. Welcome to the Farron Dozier Show on KCAA Radio 106.5 FM, 1050 AM. Also streaming from the KCAA Radio.com website. The station leaves no listener behind. And make sure you go get the app too. That's right. KCA Radio is on the app. I'm actually on the commercial for the app too, just so you know. I need my royalty check, bro. Where my money at? But anyway, make sure you go get the app, whatever operating system you use. It's available for you. But if you are driving right now and you got to get out of your vehicle, go to kcaaradio.com. You can click listen live or watch live because we're streaming live from the studio tonight. Always a spectacular show for you here on Sunday nights on the Farron Dozier Show. Tonight, we're featuring the Sports Collective TV, Media, and Radio with my guy. What's up, yo? How you be?
Oh, dang.
Yeah, man. So
time.
in the morning time. That's right. That's right. So we got some topics for you tonight, and then possibly later on in the show we got a Bags to Canvas talk with Big Dre. He is my veteran partner who is doing a lot of stuff, bro, in the sports world.
Right.
And so I talked to him about the boxing stuff, and he was like, "Oh man, let's do it."
Let me get on.
Yeah, he's like, "Let me get on." So he on Wednesday, they on
Definitely.
Sunday,
Right.
getting it in. But we got some stuff about the crack though. I'm gonna tell you offline. But
We love it. We love it.
man,
love
like
it.
live broadcasts.
Yeah.
Hammer Nails is a Hammer Nails place where the men come in, but like next level barbershop stuff. But
Okay.
yeah. So
Yeah.
we're gonna be
Yeah.
broadcasting live
Yeah.
over there.
And you know I like to stay fly.
Get my beard trimmed up. You can come hang out too if you want to, but we get your beard trimmed up,
Yeah.
all that stuff. So again, thanks for listening in. We got a guest in the building as well, so go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit, man.
Hey, I'm Coach Rahali, and it's great to have and be here, and just going to talk, I guess, about some college ball and football, and thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, we
Definitely,
appreciate
definitely.
you. Y'all already know who that is over there. What's up, man?
Man, just taking my time, man. Taking my time. Ease me in. No, man, you know what it is, man. It's your boy, Coach Will. You know what I mean? And stay tapped
The
in.
Heem Factor.
We always keep them live, man. And don't forget to submit all your highlights. That way we can get you, the proper promotion that you deserve, man. Don't be
Exactly.
afraid to be great. It's
That's
okay.
right.
You know what I mean? But tonight is a special night. We get a lot of good information from a gentleman who's been in the industry on all levels, all phases of the game. Like I said, some people might not like his responses to what they think is sweet. He has his opinion, and it's valid and it's strong, and I'd like him to have a chance to kind of give it to the people, with the face to it.
Hey, we had some behind the scenes chatter already. I was like, bro, that's enough because the conversation is 99% organic.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
he got some stuff that needs to be said, bro, and
Definitely.
he could definitely do it here, man. So don't feel like you got to hold back. Just about the language. That's about it.
That's it. That's it.
That's
Go
about
ahead,
it.
introduce
Anything else?
yourself, baby.
Absolutely, man. Just the whole landscape of college football, I think, has changed, especially in the high school. We live in a star world where rankings and everybody goes by high school football rankings.
Yeah.
And I feel that the best players necessarily aren't the best players at high school, are not necessarily the best players in college or at the next level in the NFL.
Yeah.
I've coached at a lot of different places, Wyoming, Temple. And in 2020 at Temple, we had 29 players playing in the NFL, most out of any group of 5. And at the same time, USC had 21.
Wow.
So it doesn't, I think so many kids, I try to tell them, this is not a sprint, it's a marathon, trust the process, believe in yourself, and have fun, and I feel that so many people are getting away from what makes this game so great. At the end of the day, it's just a game.
Yeah,
Man.
we gonna get there. We gonna get there. Let me
get there.
Yeah, because we definitely.
definitely. Yeah.
I got my football segment is fourth down, right? So
Okay.
we talk about that mental toughness and all that stuff, especially the behind the scenes of that football. Because I agree with you. I think it's just getting out of hand right now.
Right.
You know, with social media and the NILs and the parents, and it's like business.
Yeah.
We talk about the whole bag and all, like we talk about a lot. So we're going to get into that. Y'all heard it right here. All right, we're going to play our public service announcement. This is brought to you by Comigo. It's designed or dedicated for veterans. However, a lot of us deal with stress and anxiety, different things like that. And so some of us veterans, we don't want to deal with drugs and medications. And so I was introduced to Comigo. So check out this PSA. But if it's a human being conversation, it is dedicated to veterans. But if you know someone in your family that needs a device that can help control their breathing for that calmness and deal with your anxiety or stress, this is a perfect device. This is the Farron Dozier Show on KCAA Radio, 106.5 FM and 1050 AM. Shout us out, Worcester County.
Some of us still carry the burden of battle. It threatens to drown us in our everyday lives. In battle, we had our weapons and combat gear to keep us safe, to keep us confident. But when we returned home, we were not armed with weapons and gear to cope with our own minds. I was lucky to find my combat gear, my mental weapon, and it's called Comigo. Comigo is a drug-free device that allows you to achieve calm in less than 3 minutes in moments of anxiety, stress, anger, panic, or insomnia, not with medication, but rather by activating the parasympathetic nervous system through breathing regulation and multisensory stimulation. A recent study has shown that Comigo decreases PTSD and anxiety levels in veterans, helping those who are suffering and having a long-lasting effect. Visit Comigo.com to learn how you can get Comigo through the VA or with a special veterans discount code.
Welcome back to the Farron Dozier Show on KCAA Radio, 106.5 FM and 1050. I'm telling you, tonight's going to be lit, y'all.
Yeah.
We got some really hot topics in the sports world. Again, if you want to be a part of the episode, at Sports Collective Media on Instagram, Life Toward Sports on X, and then we got the Facebook at Sports Collective Media as well. So shouts out to Robert Lamar, wherever you at, man. If you're going to come in, call in on the lineman, just let me know, hit us up. And we'll bring
he's
you
been on the grind too.
Oh,
Listen,
bro.
Listen, the man is covering.
Bro.
Listen, he's like a blanket.
Bro, you thought he was covering before.
Wait, hey, coaches, if you're looking for a DB, Robert Lamar, he's out here with the full coverage. I'm telling you, he's been doing a phenomenal job. Salute my guy.
Yeah.
Phenomenal teammate to have. I think that he's just showing, his value and his worth, and he's doing great at it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's really giving the kids,
It's his time.
what they deserve in the process. So I love it.
Yeah.
But again,
Yeah, let me just cover some highlights. Shouts out to the IE Hounds, my ABA team. We made it to championship round for our division, man, the black division, and lost by 1, man. So
right.
at one point number 5 out of the whole ABA.
Okay.
Ended up at number 11, I believe it was.
Right.
And I picked them up. They was already doing their thing, but my buddy offloaded the team, and so I purchased it from him and kind of kept them alive until the end of the season to give them a chance for the Nationals.
Yeah.
But they did really good, so I'm looking forward to working with those group of guys.
Right,
Man. And
right.
Coach LG is
Phenomenal.
oh my God! I told him when he's coaching, it looks like he's in the orchestra, bro. He'd be like, "Move over here, go there, move, go, step up." I'm like, bro, like you directed traffic,
Right,
like
right.
orchestra music, it's beautiful, bro.
In the ABA, would you say in that all the coaches take it that serious? Are all the players taking it that serious? You know what I mean? Or do you got the guys who, you know what I mean, kind of leave a little bit of a stain on the industry?
Oh yeah, there's a stain. Oh yeah, for sure.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean? 'Cause,
yeah.
I mean, who
Yeah.
wouldn't want to have a chance to continue to play
Yeah.
at a professional level, right?
Yeah.
And the better that the league does,
Yeah.
right, that benefits
Everybody,
every team,
yeah.
every player, right? So, when there's slackers,
Yeah, you got some coaches and owners that coach that like, nah, bro, you should just pick one role.
oh,
or
okay,
just,
yeah, okay, all right,
just
all
go
right.
be the owner and let
Yeah.
somebody else run the team,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah,
It's
he's
like
like,
that.
I'm doing it all,
Yeah,
right?
she doing it all.
Oh,
Yeah, like
wow,
nah,
wow.
that's
What about
like,
the coverage on the ABA?
It still lacks. It still lacks. They got some streaming platforms, Abigail, but every to get eyeballs on that,
That'd be a good thing.
Yes, it'd be a good thing. So we were actually working on. I'm going to the owners meeting in April.
Yeah.
And I'm bringing some ideas to the table.
Let's talk.
Just not your regular, national sponsor for the sport, but some other stuff that could bring some dollars to the table.
Definitely.
But yeah, I got the Ventura County Orcas. I got people hit me up already for next season of the Ventura County Orcas. I'm like, bro, let me figure out. Season just ended. Let me figure out what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
And then the Riverside County Mavericks is brand new. So we're gonna figure out what we're gonna do with that. But to have 3 teams, man, and it's cool.
That's right.
It's different.
Right.
It's different.
Man.
What else is that? Other than that, next month, April, is also Rhabdomyolysis Awareness Month. So I'm going to be interviewing some people that I found that experience rhabdo, have collapsed. Some like that condition is considered rare, like 200,000 people per year, but yet it can cause sudden death.
Wow.
And I'm like, how long is this going to be rare before y'all have to to look at it? And
how rare does
how rare does it have to be for you to start looking at it, right? And so with athletes and sports and military, and so next month I've got some people on deck from different walks of life that are going to come and share their story, either on here or on NBR platform. I gave them the options of Sunday or Wednesday nights. Talk about that.
Awesome.
And then if you want, I'll play some sickle cell PSAs later. But if you want more information about the sickle cell trait, wdconstt.org. All right, man. So, you ready?
I'm ready to go.
Coach, man. Well, let me ask you first. Give us some background. Who were you growing up as a child, man? Did you play sports? Let me give us some background.
Yeah, I actually was an ice hockey player. I played in Sweden, and I loved hockey, and I was a football player too. And I just really love college football, and who doesn't, right?
Yeah.
The biggest Notre Dame fan, so that's worse being 31. The one time I'm not a Notre Dame fan really anymore, they go to the national championship.
How did you end up in Sweden?
I was just a good hockey player and did anything else, and it was just a great experience. I played for my brother played college hockey. I didn't. I played. I started coaching as a student assistant actually at Orange Coast College for football, and then, went to Arizona, and then went to, started coaching at Temple and coached special teams, and then Valpo, which is FCS, Wyoming, all over the place, man. It's a tough business when you work in it. Everybody sees the greatness in the highlights.
Right. They don't see the rest of it. We're going to talk about that in this hour, too.
Definitely.
So background growing up, how was that for you growing up in your environment?
It was awesome. I grew up with a learning disability, actually. So I was on the spectrum, which was very hard. So school was very tough. But I grew up in Huntington. I went to actually boarding school because that's what a lot of hockey players do. They go back east and play prep school. Yeah, from a young age.
Wow.
That's wild.
So yeah, that was pretty awesome. So I've lived all over. I feel like I'm not really an Orange County person just because my parents are from Philly. So, we're really just totally just, get into it. I'm not, everyone thinks I'm mad if I'm just passionate, okay?
Right? You got to make sure sometimes that gets misconstrued in your attitude. It's passion. It's passion.
Definitely.
Talk about mom and pops. What do you want to say about mom and pops?
Yeah, my dad actually, both of them are from Philadelphia. My Italian immigrants are my grandparents, or were my grandparents.
Okay.
My dad came out here because he was in the Navy, so they're both physicians. Yeah. My dad actually is a dermatologist, and my mom's a radiologist, but he to get his school paid for, he went into the Navy and didn't have any, student debts, and was a lieutenant commander, so an officer, which is a very high up for people that don't know rankings out there for the Navy.
For the Navy, Shouts out to your pops for paving the way for me, man, because I had a 24-year career in the Army, man, so I appreciate all those that made the way for me to have my time. So shouts out to your pops. What do you want to say about moms?
My mom is a great, very strong, woman that really taught me and, how to, have an opinion about everything, but don't do it on national TV or national radio.
Right.
You, if you equate your mental toughness growing up in your environment, who do you get at to? Your mom, your dad, the sport, the sports? Who gave?
I think in a lot of ways is growing up with a learning difference, where things are a struggle. I think is that from when you do it from a young age, you know, where everything is just difficult, like just doing simple math, like just even graduating college, even like I'm not the best at school, but I guess I'm good at life. I don't know, maybe.
You here, right? That's all that matters.
But yeah, I think is that anything. I think when I'm not a big Joe Rogan fan, but he always says everybody that's successful have a messed up or have a problem growing up or have a hard road. And I think like even when you see football guys like Aaron Rodgers or guys like Josh Allen, you know, they didn't have a scholarship offer out of high school. You know, they went to JC, and then, you know, they weren't big recruits out of that, and they just kept proving the doubters wrong and having a chip on their shoulders, and that's what it's about. And you know, that's what I always say is with having that kind of struggling from a younger age.
What do you want to say to people, you know, now, because, you know, as you mentioned, your condition and can be challenging. What do you want people to know about that they could, because we can teach people how to be compassionate.
Definitely.
We can teach. So what do you want to say about that so people can get a little bit better understanding of what that.
That's a good question. That's a really good question, actually. Never really thought of that. But I have nonverbal learning difference, which is high functioning, I guess, of Asperger's, and you know, and I think a lot of people. You come off more as sometimes as like saying things that are, especially in a text world today, where it's like you don't really try to, like, it's hard to pick up on social cues sometimes. But I've gotten a lot better at that, through the years.
So like no filter, kind of.
Exactly. So doing public radio is hard.
You're doing good. You're doing good. Yeah. Okay. So go ahead.
But I think is that, I think everybody that is, today's world, I think a lot of people have that don't know they have it, because it's so, I feel like the best thing is I'm lucky and super blessed that my parents, I came from, you know, money and had the resources to, and a lot of people can't get, you know, pay for that to get tested, to understand it's, oh, well, I'm not smart. No, that has nothing to do with that. I have like I got an IQ test like a few years ago, and I was like super smart, and I was like shocked because I can't pass the dang SATs. And, like, they'll study, I'll be like doing what is this to this, I'm like, I don't know. But yeah, that's what I would say. I think it's really our educational system needs to have, because if not, you're put in special ed, and that's not like, you know, when you look around and you're like, oh, I'm like him, so that's kind of, I think, is that if we could help with testing and help with the educational system of starts from a younger age, you know, helping kids do and just give them the tools to be successful. That's just like, and I think football is a great in sports. I really didn't have the most friends. Because I was socially different a little bit. And college football was really my connection, and connecting to Notre Dame was, you know, maybe they're not going to win this week, but they're going to show up. And that's something to believe in. And that's why I love sports. And I think it teaches unbelievable lessons through life. And I think everybody sees it today as, how can I go play USC, instead of saying, you know, wow, I'm learning lessons that how to hard work, work with others, you know, how to never give up, and all these things. And it doesn't matter what sport you play. And that's the same thing with military. You know, the military teaches you discipline, how to, you know, when you get out of there, to be successful and take that with your life. Do what you did.
Sports used to be that way. It used to be that way. And I appreciate you. I'm going to leave it here with what you're saying to me. Is the sense of belonging is so important, and I do, because I have, you know, friends that their children have special needs, and it's like sometimes the parents are even afraid to go get the help, from I would say maybe shame or embarrassment or something, but that child needs that. There's some things that they can get, but the parents be in the way of that child, denial almost in a sense.
Tough to say. I wouldn't always say denial. It's just, you know, the realization. That's tough.
Right?
You gotta swallow that pill. So that, I think, is not so much, you know, it's just more about the shame behind it a little bit, right? You know what I mean? It goes back to the social thing, and you want a perfect child, and all these different things, and you wonder why it's your child. It's all these things that it gets deeper into.
It gets in the way.
Right, but again, the number one thing was that he said in there was how to identify.
Exactly.
But I think it comes down to the teachers. like it comes down to, the people that are professionals have to identify it and say, hey, not every parent is a medical profession and sees,
Yeah.
like, and I think it's how can we help and say, hey, this person needs this. And then I think it's the same thing. I think we live in a society of, when if we got health problems, we got people that know more than the doctors or the medical people.
Yeah.
I Googled that. Well, did you go to medical school? Like, Google's their own doctor. So, I mean, everybody knows everything about, and, now I work with a NFL agent and, I'm an NFL scout basically and find all the talent and players and represent them in college and all that.
Yeah.
And, he's the agent. He does the contracts. I don't know I could not look at a contract and tell you what to do.
Yeah.
But I know that.
And
I
talent.
understand that. But he, at the same time, I tell him what players to get. So those are kind of, and I feel like a lot of people everybody knows everything.
Yeah.
You can't possibly be great at what you do. Like I see a lot of these 247 rivals writers doing all this recruiting, but they do the team of basketball, football, baseball.
Yeah.
Like how can you possibly know every sport so well and identify talent? Like I can't go watch a basketball game and be like, I need this guy at Arizona where I went. So, so that's like, I think is like, I think is that the people that are professionals in that need to identify that. And at the worst, at the end of the day, just tell the parents and then, at the end of the day, you're not going to be able to convince somebody, and if they don't agree,
they got to be willing.
But that's where it starts, in my personal opinion.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you for sharing that. Let's go to the line real quick. Are we in the zone?
Yeah, I'm in the zone.
What's
Laying
up?
low right now. What's happening?
What's your location? Over.
Location, Rob.
We cannot give locations right now.
Over.
Now I'm in traffic.
How you been, man?
Man, just been trying to stay active.
We see, man.
Inactivity will kill you, bro.
Yeah.
It's a real thing, man. When you're not active, it really kills a lot that you got going, from your spirit to your momentum to your routine, all that won't. And, I'm just glad that I was able to kind of, get into the swing of things, even though that car accident kind of threw me off for a month, man. That was a tough month. That was a very tough month, but nevertheless, I got back into the swing of things right in time. And, as you guys saw, we active.
Yeah.
We active.
We proud of you, bro. We know you got it.
Yeah, man. We just, it's all about putting it all together. That's what it comes down to. Everything is a collective.
Yeah.
And we got to collectively put this over the top, because it ain't just one. We bring so much collectively to the point where, man, we should be really soaring. Like for this year, this ain't no excuse, bro. That's how I look at it. So, we just got to kind of, we got to regroup and really get this thing rolling because, man, as you can see, everything that we doing still works.
Mm-hmm.
So we just got to really kind of like elevate this year. This year is about being better than we've ever been. So,
no doubt.
That's all I'm trying to do, man.
Anything you want to report on? You want to report on before we look?
First and foremost, let's say congratulations to the Inland Empire's own Roosevelt for winning the CIF state championship for the open division. So they are the kings upon kings for high school basketball in the state of California.
Yeah,
that
did that.
Inland Empire's finest.
They did that. They've been at it for the last couple of years and really,
trying
to
make
they've been close.
They've been and this year they punched through the wall, man. They punched through.
And let's give another shout out to, it seems like we're doing this every year with them, but the Etiwanda girls basketball team for winning the open division for state championship. Again, 3-peat.
Hey, but listen here. I salute those girls. Congratulations, ladies, off the chain. But that Ontario Christian team is wow. Listen, those girls were playing like they were in the WNBA.
Yeah.
All right. Defense, offense, shots, finding the right passes, phenomenal staffs, great groups.
Yeah.
I mean, salute to both teams for having the type of year that they had all year.
Yeah.
I mean, Etowanda, the ultimate, and they did it with class.
Yeah.
They all did it with class. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So those two programs who are not out of Los Angeles or, and I mean, it's nothing, but you expect these type of teams to be built at these type of programs. So salute to Ontario Christian and salute to Etowanda, man. Major.
Well, you know what's so special about Ontario Christian? That team is built on primarily freshmen and sophomores.
Yeah.
So they were early. And they won CIF.
Yeah.
But they lost in the regional final in a rematch to Etowanda. So it's hard to beat a team twice, just like our high score. Shout out to Chatsworth. We fell short.
Shout out to Chatsworth.
Again.
Shout out to
Second year in a row.
Hey, it's okay, though.
But,
we there.
But we made it,
We
though.
there. We there. We there.
Shout out to Chatsworth. It's just, we wanted to bring it home this year. And, Arenas leads Chatsworth without a state championship ring, and that's a disappointment for us. But nevertheless, this is the best era of Chatsworth basketball that we ever seen. We would never see anything like this. So shout out to Chatsworth for making back-to-back state championship appearances.
Special salute to Coach Sam. Coach Sam Harris, who's been a part of that program for the last 10 years almost at this point. With him being a part of the build to get to this point and be able to inherit such a phenomenal player like Elijah Arenas, right? Where there's a bunch of history there, but we won't get into that right now. But salute to what they've done to develop. Because you can't go that far just leaning on one player.
Yeah.
They went to the state, they did it big 2 years in a row. Now, did this kid carry the load? Yeah, he's a phenomenal. He's one of those type of generational talents. Yeah. Right. But salute to that staff for the build. You know what I mean? Even and again, another salute to them for winning the championship in football.
We'll come back. Hey, Robert, hang on the line, Robert. We'll be back in the zone with you in a second. This is the Farron Dozier Show, KCA Radio 106.5 FM, 1050 AM. Public service announcement. Drop one of them sickle cell trait ones too for me, please. Again, thanks for tuning in. We'll be right back. Check this out.
Some of us still carry the burden of battle. It threatens to drown us in our everyday lives. In battle, we had our weapons and combat gear to keep us safe, to keep us confident. But when we returned home, we were not armed with weapons and gear to cope with our own minds. I was lucky to find my combat gear, my mental weapon, and it's called Calmago. Calmago is a drug-free device that allows you to achieve calm in less than 3 minutes in moments of anxiety, stress, anger, panic, or insomnia, not with medication, but rather by activating the parasympathetic nervous system through breathing regulation and multisensory stimulation. A recent study has shown that Calmago decreases PTSD and anxiety levels in veterans, helping those who are suffering and having a long-lasting effect. Visit Calmago.com to learn how you can get Calmago through the VA or with a special veterans discount code.
This is the Farron Dozier Show on KCA Radio.
Do you remember studying sickle cell in biology class? What's the Count on Sickle Cell Trait Prevention is here to bring you awareness, education, and prevention conversations around the risk factors of this inherited gene. Visit wdconsct.org.
All right, welcome back to the Farron Dozier Show on KCAA Radio 106.5 FM, 1050 AM. All right, we're going to get into some football conversations. Will, where you want to start at, Coach Will?
Well, man, it's I think that I just really want to take some time to help people get their eyes focused on a couple of things before we really get into some things with Coach.
Yeah.
Allow these young men to get out here, develop, tell them what's really needed. Fellas, you know me. I love 7-on-7. right? I love putting it together. I love what we do out there. But your track time is more important. That track time is going to take you further than any 7-on-7 touchdown will take you. So, again, I'm going to reiterate. Focus on your track time. Get a time. Get out there. Allow those recruiters to take another, check off the list. So don't just completely leave the offseason or get into the offseason, and go right into 7-on-7. Yeah. Get some track training, get some speed training, develop, work on a little bit of what is flawed. You have plenty of film and huddle to go over that stuff, and then get into the rhythm of 7-on-7. 7-on-7 goes from December to May before you have to really get into it with your team. So just take some time and really get into some stuff that'll help the recruiters continue to cross those things off the list to know that you're recruitable. And I think that's kind of where I really want to highlight into some things right now before we get into some things with Coach. Coach, I would like to again just kind of like give us a little bit of how you feel the state of what the NIL is right now and how it's impacting the high school to college transition.
I think to start where you're saying I'm not, 7-on-7, I think to go before that is, I think it teaches a lot of bad habits. If you're doing it to have fun, when I was college coaching, we would never go watch 7-on-7. Like we literally would not watch any 7-on-7.
Right.
But, it seems where that's the game going. And the NIL situation right now, if you look at it, let's look at Arizona State last year. They got a guy, there's running back, he's from Sac State, Simmons, their best DB, he's from FCS. These schools are going to start going for older players that have accomplished something, because if they don't win, they're out. And you're not, with any until there are contracts, you can't go if you don't play a freshman out of high and first year in college. He's probably going to transfer, and that's a lot. It's opportunity cost, the simple economics, which is time. All that where, why put your time into something that if they're just going to leave? And the development is really hurting, I think, at all levels of football, because everybody's going from place to place to place. And the NIL, and instead of people going to the best situation for them to succeed, they're just choosing money. Yeah. Which is, that $200,000 is going to be the last check you ever see if you don't play. And then they hit the portal with no film. I've never seen this is the best football junior college football has ever been. Junior college football right now is so good and so unbelievable. And last year, I think there were 150 players from junior college that went to FBS. Wow. Which is like never heard of. Like when I was there, probably in junior college, probably like 25. So the game is changing where you're having a minor league almost like a junior college minor league, or FCS is a minor league for FBS. Right. And you're seeing so many guys that are from the lower levels that are just becoming absolute beasts at the higher levels. I mean, look at Vanderbilt's quarterback last year. I mean, he beat Alabama. At New Mexico State, he beat Auburn. Yeah. And they went 7-5, and they're really, really good. They're older teams. Yeah. Auburn right now for college basketball, since you're talking basketball, their average age is 25 years old.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, they're taking over. It's really hard to put a 19-year-old out there against 25-year-olds.
That legend coach down at Arkansas, you know what he said? He says there's no way he can replace. He's not even looking at high school. Oh. Wait a minute, right? He says there's no way he can, quote, right? There's no way he can take and replace his 4 starters with any high school kid.
Oh, my God.
And there's some phenomenal players, but you have to understand where he's coming from and what he means, right?
Yeah.
DK, the Lakers took Dalton Connect, right? How old is this young man? About 26.
Yeah.
26 years old, right?
Wow.
He's about that age. So when you look at the perspective of it, that's where it's going. You mentioned junior college, right? Parents, be aware that they do still lose that year. It's not, they go to college and then they don't lose that time. no, there's a situation here where you have to understand how to properly appeal and go about that. They're not going to just grant you your time right now. There's so many different things out there that people are saying about it. So you got to really, really, really do your research and don't get, caught in a situation where you're assuming your kid is not losing their eligibility, and they are. That's also something important to bring up,
Yeah.
But with that being said, we're looking at the transfer portal. Kids going into the transfer portal, not having a place to land, right? Where does a kid go from there, Coach?
It depends the level, and it depends how high of a recruit he was. I mean, look at Oklahoma's quarterback from last year. He did not have a very good year, and I'm not going to go into what I actually think of him as a player, but he's going to Auburn because he was a 5-star and he was not. He had a ton of turnovers. They had one of the worst offenses in the SEC. Their defense played really well, and he's going to play SEC still and probably going to be the starter. So if you're in that situation, but then if you're in the situation of Tulane's quarterback, who's from St. Louis Obispo, he had no offers out of high school except his only FBS offer was Tulane. He threw for like 1,500 yards. He's getting 3 years, $8 million at Duke.
Wow.
Wow. So,
wow. I mean,
if that doesn't, the facts speak for themselves. So I think that's the reality of it depends how you do and what you are. And there are a lot of politics. There always has been, and there always will be. Yeah. But, I think you're better off going to a situation so you're not in a bad situation where you're going to play at a lower level, if that is a group of 5, FCS, or whatever that is, or junior college, where you're going to get developed, where you have a chance to show the world and shock the world.
Okay. Why, or what do you feel about kids not wanting to take a D2 offer or a D2 full scholarship and whatever that situation whatever that layout would be? How do you feel about kids taking, skipping a D2 offer to go to a junior college? Do you think that's a bad move, or do you think that's a better move? Do you think that devalues the player? How do you feel about kids who are doing that?
I think it's actually a great move to go to JC, especially if you live in California, because you get all your UC, credits or Cal State credits. It's very easy to, you focus on the game. A lot of these D2 schools, sorry, no disrespect, but they're not academically really good schools. I've coached D2. Unless you're going to, Colorado School of Mines, which is a really high academic school or something like that. But most D2 schools are not really that good academic schools. So, everybody eventually has to go. But, if you just want to go and get a free education, hey, you know what? That's awesome. And, so there's no wrong or right. I think you're more likely to play against better talent at the JC level than D2, just because everybody is going to more of a junior college, especially those schools in Kansas. They are loaded with talent. But, if you're a California kid moving to Kansas, you're a little different animal.
Transition and change is something else.
So that's what I would say. And I think I don't think one size fits all. And I always said that. I always say to high school coaches, every player's different. If they're the best coaches I've been around, they put their player in the best situation, to succeed on and off the field. Yeah. How they teach the game, how they, maybe some guys are like your boy, D-line coach at Colorado. He was talking about, showing it on the board. Some guys work with that. Peko. And, some guys learn differently. So maybe for some guy, maybe JC's better. For other guys, maybe it's going to D2. Yeah. So every situation, I don't tell people, and I always tell kids, go with your heart. If you don't want to go there, and you're just, I'm gonna go, it's not gonna work out.
Right.
And
I know what you mean. No, true. You're just doing it to kind of just tap into something and then jump back. Like you said, you got to kind of have that all in. You got to commit. You got to be willing to commit to all of it, to the process, period, as they say.
But what about the pressure from the family? What I look at is, especially in our environment, it's like that child has so much pressure to get this education and to get this scholarship and to get this contract to play sports with his whole family on his back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think is that, I think the parents are very. I lasted coaching 1 week of high school, and I was like, I can't do this. After just was volunteering to help out, because parents were just telling me how good their kid. He has an anxiety disorder, so that's why he catches balls and can't catch or drops ball. I'm like, no, he just needs to, focus and
disorder.
So I think it's more like how to put yourself. The parents have to do what's best for the kid. Stop. If people do that or make it where it's so intense all the time, you're making Todd Maranovich, and Todd Maranovich did not work out. Didn't work in 1980, and it's not going to work in 2025. There's too much pressure on these kids. This is just a game. This is just they need to have fun, and if you're good enough, you'll make it. This comes down to genetics. I work with so many players whose parents are just professional athletes.
Yeah,
and
it's natural.
It's just they're don't go and they're working out harder than me. I mean, they're born that way.
Yeah. Right.
So I think it's if you're 5'10", you're probably not going to play at Alabama. I hate to kill everyone's dreams, but you can shoot for the stars, but you have to be realistic. And I think being realistic is a bad thing. Is really hard to tell kids today. Is hey, this is how it works. The person that is the most real to you, I guarantee you, all the kids out there listening, is the one who cares about you the most. The person that is just saying you're the best, you're this, you're that, they're just, that's really actually hurting you at the end of the day. I always tell my kids that say, oh, well, the coach is mean to me. He yells at me all the time. I think maybe I should hit the portal. I'm like, the walk-on in the back that's not good at football, that he doesn't care about, he's not yelling at him because he doesn't see promise. And he sees he's trying to make the best in you. Yeah. And I think he's not being mean. He's trying to get as much as he can out of you, and he sees your potential.
Right.
And that's something that I think kids need to understand, that it's not just because we're yelling at you doesn't mean, it means that we actually really, really do care.
Here's the mental toughness part for that for me. Because when you talk about your identity and growing up, you may not have to be the guy catching the pass on the field. There are other jobs
I always say that
you can get to still be connected to sports. Mm-hmm. Why is it that I got to be the one taking a jumper?
Because they don't preach the whole concept of, listen, the Raiders run an organization. Yeah. Do you think they want an executive in there that knows the game, or just an analytic guy, or an executive that knows the game and has some analytic capabilities because he went to school and finished out? And they want football people in the room. Basketball people want basketball people in the room. So when the tough decisions have to be made, it's coming from people that understand the game. That have that experience. So you can go to school 4 years, play ball, and things didn't work out, but you can become a VP for a program, or these sorts of things that are in the building. Maybe not the owner, maybe not the but you can be someone in the building that is of importance that makes those type of decisions, because your resume, your opinion, your knowledge is based on So I think that's also something that should be pushed, not just to be overlooked. And there's multiple shields you can represent. There is the CFL, the NFL,
exactly.
But it's that Super Bowl or bust concept, right?
Yeah. NBA or not,
right? Like you said earlier, right? Bama or but you're 5'10", 175. Right. I get it. You're a gamer. You got it. You can do it. Now, will opportunity present itself for you to be in that position? Right. That's all going to be based on the progress.
I mean, I think look at Antonio Gates, for example. He played. Anyone know where he played football? Kent State. No, he didn't play football. He played basketball and took him to an Elite Eight. And then he's the best tight end maybe to ever play the game. So I think is that everybody wants this. Oh, I'm going to go here. This perfect situation, but I think is for me, I would have taken Penix any day of the week over Caleb Williams, because Penix, when the game is on the line, this guy delivers. You saw it against Texas. You saw it against Oregon. He's out there, stumbling and rumbling with, almost hurt, but he somehow finds a way to make a play. And if you took Penix off that Washington team, maybe 8-4 at best. So you're seeing it, guys, that I always say to guys, what do you do? I want the guy with the fourth quarter when the game's on the line that goes out there and says, hey, guys, let's go. We're down by 3. Who's going to do that? And you're going to see that in March Madness this year. Is the guy that puts the team on his back, and when he's not maybe having a great game, how does he how does he find a way?
Yeah.
And that's
play defense or play another role that to make that happen.
I just think is that so many people, think is that, all the people that play at Alabama or play at Michigan play in the NFL, and that's not true. I mean, Max Crosby for the Raiders, Eastern Michigan, University, Khalil Mack, University of Buffalo, Hassan Reddick, Temple, and it goes on for
Like
years.
you said, you could have a great career.
Everybody just said like big time gamers.
You could have a great career overseas.
Yeah. That's
So, I mean, I think it's just like, look at the guy who plays for the Warriors. He didn't play, and his dad was like a great basketball player, wasn't he? And he played at, he didn't even get to go play at Duke. So, he played there in a great high academic, and for football, that school is non-scholarship. They're Division I non-scholarship. So that's what I always tell people, is just, don't pick a school based off of the brand or the name.
Right.
And I always say, I think this is true, and I see so many kids with graphics or whatever. Would a kid today rather be on the bench and play at Nebraska so everybody sees that he plays at Nebraska, or would he rather go and actually play at Wyoming? And I really think he would choose to go to Nebraska or go to Ohio State.
Come on, man.
Wow.
Wow. You're saying that with confidence. We're looking at it. We've seen it. I don't even have to say names.
Wow.
But hey, you know what? A dream is a dream.
But if you go to Wyoming with the transfer portal, every kid can go and transfer and then go be the guy at Nebraska. Yeah. Everything that the problem with today, I'd say, with evaluating talent is it's never been harder before, because in high school you have all the kids. When I grew up, Mater Dei had 2 or 3 guys that were Division I really, really good.
Yeah.
Now the whole team, the backups are
the JV team. Nobody's scheduling JV. Nobody won't even schedule their JV team. They're like, no, because they're like, their JV team's like, they be top varsity team somewhere else. You know what I mean? This is so crazy. So, you're right.
But it's really hard to watch and say, oh, this guy's really good, because maybe the guy, when you have all those, when I was at Wyoming, I was working basically head of recruiting, and I would never watch a guy play against Mater Dei, because it's not like they have a bunch of, Power 5 guys out there. If you look at, say, the FCS schools, when they get killed by, 60 points against FBS or whatever, maybe the FCS school has a lot of really good players that maybe will play in the league, but they can't, 11 versus 11, they're not going to be able to, that's why the score is so bad.
Yeah.
But I think it is something that, it's just really hard, because a lot of guys turn out to be busts or don't turn out to be as good as they really are because they're on that great of a team.
Yeah.
Rather than, and I think everything now is test based. How big is this guy? How fast? In game sense, if you have great game sense, I don't care what sport it is.
Right.
You don't have to be the fastest guy in the building, because you put yourself in the right situation. The smartest guys have longevities of careers. Peyton Manning took Denver to won a Super Bowl, and his arm literally, he couldn't throw because he was so in pain and his arm was going.
Yeah. But
he knew where everybody was going to be, and he could read a defense better than anybody. So that's what it comes down to. I think you can't measure that in 7-on-7. You can't measure that in 40 times. So that's kind of why, for me, I think the film is very important. And a lot of these guys from FCS that are going up right now, Arizona State's running back, all the guys that were to play to get the Heisman, all the members that were invited this year, the finalists, not one of them started Power 5 football.
Wow. Yes. Yeah.
Who do you call it at Jackson State? ASU's guy, I think he was there. There's a couple others. Boise State's guy was at Boise, So there was, and then Cam Ward was at Incarnate Word.
Yeah.
So that's
that's very true. Yeah. So that's like literally a true,
Yeah, like you said.
It's when you look at these guys and where they started at and where they are.
Right.
Yeah. If you want to say, some people may say it took the long way, but like he said, these guys didn't chase the name. This guy literally took Jackson State over every school in the country.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think also is from coaching at a Group of 5 and Power 5, the facilities at Temple. If you went to Temple, you'd be like, where am I? And it's in the hood. It's I love it. but it's cold. It's, it builds character, and it builds. We wake up at 5 a.m. We work out. It's not. I think the kid at LSU looks around and says, "Wow, I've made it. Look at these facilities. I got my own locker. I got my own. We got everything. Like, those facilities are amazing." But that really actually backfires because when you think you've made it. The worst facility I think in the NFL is Kansas City right now, in the Patriots.
Wow!
And think about how many Super Bowl those two had.
Right, exactly.
So that's kind of something that I always say is, never forget where you came from, and always, remember the hard times, and that's what builds really a lot of character in my sense, and makes you successful. Is the guys that are satisfied. The guy that's the 4-star, thinks that he, everybody's telling him he's the best thing ever before he even has accomplished anything in college, is really hurting himself because he's not maximizing. He's doing podcasts, doing other stuff, doing graphics, and taking away from the art of what. Time is the most important thing, and when you take time from something else, you're not doing the other thing you do. And I think you have to always be humble because the guy that's playing at University of Ohio is working really, really hard, and he's coming.
Right, he's coming for your spot.
Definitely.
Exactly.
Wow. Last thing before I exit this thing out with you. Who do you think is the biggest off-season winner in Division I, FCS or FBS college, right? Would you say Delaware State? Would you say UNC with Belichick? Would you say the continuing rising of everything that's going on in Oregon re-signing Lanning?
I don't know. That's like a hard question to answer. Really hard. I mean, I think like ASU also re-signing, and I hate to say it, but he's doing a heck of a job at Arizona State, and he doesn't get the credit he deserves. I think North Carolina is either going to be really, really good or really, really bad. Like, I think Belichick's gonna with these kids. If these kids don't, he's gonna have a lot of people hit the portal.
Great grandpa.
He's gonna hit the portal. He's not gonna put up with anything. But yeah, what Coach did in Long Beach, he killed it. We'll see how he does at Delaware State, but. I think Coach Lanning is a really good young coach. But this is not recruiting, in my opinion. This is him just buying, But the coach I want to give a shout out to this year, who I went to a game to watch, is UCLA, man. These guys play so hard. I was at the UCLA Minnesota game, and they really got really good in the end there, and they're starting to believe in that culture a little bit. And I think UCLA really did a great job this year.
Shout out my guy Stace and Coach Foster and those guys, man. Shout out, major deal.
Yeah, no, man, you got to come back, bro. We got to come back, and we got to get into some more details. I really want to touch on, the identity, the parents. Like, I just believe some parents live that life through that child and puts that much pressure on that child.
All the camps when I was coaching, we had a lot of pro guys come to the camps that's sons were there. Always the pro guys that have done it, they all go sit in the stands like way up and don't say a word and don't say a peep.
Yeah.
It's always the guy, I think everybody looks up to LeVar Ball. Stop trying to be LeVar Ball. Nobody wants to hang out with LeVar.
Right.
So, I mean, and a lot of the you're ruining your kids, opportunity.
All of that, yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of the way I see it, is just let your kids be kids, and if they're good enough, they'll make it, and all you can do is put them in the best situation to succeed.
Definitely.
Give them your social media, man, so that people can reach out to you and follow you and kind of get a sense of what you're up to out there, man.
Yeah, I do. Coach Brahali, some people follow me, or hopefully they do. I do a lot of different stuff, a lot of stuff, people I represent, and then also just do highlights, and then also just try to put out stuff that will help them with their football careers, and try to show people stories from past people that are successful.
You fit right in, bro. That's what we do.
Yeah, yes,
That's
sir.
what we do.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for hanging out with us tonight, man, making that trip.
God, big dog.
Shouts out to In the Zone, Rob Lamar. Shouts out to Big Dre. I know you didn't get on, man, but we here. Coach, anything last words,
tap in, Sports Collective Media. You know what it is.
The
at the
Heem Factor.
Coach Will 247. And, man, hey, get on your job.
Get on it. All right, we out of here. Appreciate you. Catch us, on the social media at Sports Collective Media. Shout out to Wilson County.
Follow up.
Some of us still carry the burden of battle. It threatens to drown us in our everyday lives. In battle, we had our weapons and combat gear to keep us safe, to keep us confident. But when we returned home, we were not armed with weapons and gear to cope with our own minds. I was lucky to find my combat gear, my mental weapon, and it's called Calmago. Calmago is a drug-free device that allows you to achieve calm in less than 3 minutes, in moments of anxiety, stress, anger, panic, or insomnia, not with medication, but rather by activating the parasympathetic nervous system through breathing regulation and multisensory stimulation. A recent study has shown that Calmago decreases PTSD and anxiety levels in veterans, helping those who are suffering and having a long-lasting effect. Visit Calmago.com to learn how you can get Calmago through the VA or with a special veterans discount code.
KCAA.